Everyone, welcome to video number 1. I'm talking about heme consults and your brand. All right, when I started my fellowship, I was so keen on being a benign hematologist. I didn't care anything about oncology, and I thought all my oncology rotations sucked. And I was like, I don't want to know any oncology. I want no idea about chemotherapy. And that was really short-sighted of me because being on the consult service is not about the information you gain. It's not so much about the knowledge. It's really about building your brand. And I'm going to talk to you about 7 reasons why the Hematology Consult Service helps you build your brand. The first thing you might be asking is brand, huh? What? And I think it's important to note that you're building a brand. You've identified yourself, first of all, as an internal medicine or med peds physician. And then you further identified yourself as someone who's going to do hematology oncology. And so, whatever your chosen final destination, whether that's solid tumor oncology, malignant hematology, or benign hematology, you're going to want to take back things from each of these rotations that you go through that build your brand as the consultant that you're going to be in the future. One of the things that the Heme Consult Service gives you is an opportunity to build a brand as someone who is not afraid of hematologic disorders. For instance, even if you become a solid tumor oncologist, your patients are going to have problems with benign hematologic type issues. So thrombocytopenia is going to be something that you're going to deal with frequently, and so is anemia. And then you may have the massively bleeding patient. You want to be the kind of person who is not afraid of a bleeding patient. You want to be the kind of person who's not afraid of a massive thrombotic event. You want to have the knowledge necessary to be able to really own your brand no matter what you end up doing in the world, whether it's as an oncologist or as a malignant hematologist. There will always be a role for hematology consults in your brand. And so I want to encourage you to think about your time in the Heme Consult Service, not as someone who's just trying to get hematology knowledge that you'll never use again, but as someone who's going to really need to make use of hematology in the future, as someone who's not going to be afraid to handle the hard things that others bulk away from, as someone who is going to really make the most of your time on the Heme Consult Service. Okay, so number 1 is that it helps you build your brand. The second thing it helps you do is it helps you learn to lead other physicians. That's really interesting. So as a consultant, you are helping other physicians take care of patients. This is really important because sometimes we think, oh, we're here for patient care. And in general, we are, but we're helping other physicians take care of their patients. At the end of the day, the client is the team that's consulting you, not so much the patient. Because at any point in time, the team can say, actually, we don't want any of your recommendations. Please stop seeing our patients. And we are obligated to do so because it's their patient. And so what you're doing as a hematology consultant is you are helping the teams lead the patient. So you are leading the teams to care for the patient. And it's a really awesome privilege, a great responsibility to be the one leading other physicians in their care of the patient. And that's an opportunity that you get to have on the Heme Consult Service. The third thing that the Heme Consult Service helps you do is to have business savvy. You're like, what? This is not about business. Well, in a way it is. Business is all about building relationships. And really what you're doing is building relationships with your clients, the teams, and you're giving them the satisfaction of helping them win with their patients. And so in a sense, you're learning kind of really the business of relationships and leveraging relationships to help clients win so that their clients win as well. So while your client is the team that's consulting you, their client is the patient. And as you help them, they take better care of the patient, they win and you win. So you're like, well, there's no money changing hands. There's always money changing hands. And this is important to think about. So throughout your fellowship, you're probably not going to bill, but at the end of the day, every service receives a thank you by way of money that's paid. As attendings, we do the job of billing, and a lot of the work you do is part of that billed service. And so recognize that each time you see a patient, you're helping generate a bill so that the hospital system gets a thank you for caring for the patient. So yeah, you may not be acutely aware of it, but you're actually facilitating the business of medicine as you care for patients. The fourth thing that hematology consults will give you is it'll help you to learn courage under fire. You're going to get a massive consults come in all at once. You're going to have people yelling at you on the phone. You're going to have people saying, we want the recommendations right now. Or they'll say, we insist you must leave your bed and come into the hospital to see this bleeding patient now. And there are a lot of requests that are going to be made of you. You're going to need to keep cool, keep calm, keep collected so that you can make the right recommendations that benefit the patient. So, yes, you're going to learn courage under fire. Another thing you're going to learn is strategic prioritization. This is one I see a lot of the fellows struggle with. You're going to get a lot of information coming at you at once. And then there'll be people who are yelling. And then there'll be people who are trying to make you feel uncomfortable. And you have to take all these bits of information that's coming at you and decide, what is my number one priority here? What is the most important thing that needs to happen here? And sometimes it seems as if the easy answer should just be patient care is number one. Patient care is always number one. But in your role as a consultant, you first of all need to prioritize so that you can get to the patient care. Heme Consults is one of the best services to do that because it's probably going to be the service that will challenge you a lot in terms of the amount of information that's coming at you and your ability to quickly collect, synthesize that information, and then get extra learning to be able to figure out how to care for the patient. You're going to need to be able to do this on day one, and the Heme Consult service will help you learn to do that. Another thing the Heme Consult service will help you learn to do is to think quickly on your feet. You get calls from the OR. They say, we need Novo 7 now. The patient is bleeding out. And no, we do not have 15 minutes for you to get back with your attending. We need your answer right now. You're going to learn to think very quickly on your feet in a way you may not have had to, even when you were in the ICU running codes. It's a different kind of strategic thinking, especially about a field that you probably don't know too much about. Heme Consult service will help you do that and will help you do that well for the long term. Finally, Heme Consults is an opportunity for you to create learning environments where people win. When teams call you, they're anxious, worried, they're afraid. And instead of demonstrating that they are or being honest about it, instead they bluster, they yell, they make you mad. And it's an opportunity for you to take back all of that negative energy, take it out of the way, and create an environment where people can actually calm down and figure out the best way to care for the patient. You're also going to be the fellow who's helping manage medical students and residents on the service as well. You're good at doing that. It's harder in a field where you don't feel like you're the expert, but you're going to create the learning environment that allows them to win, even while you're learning to do all the things that you're supposed to do as a fellow. So, one of the things I want you to think about is, what kind of brand are you trying to build? What expertise does Heme Consults give you that you want to take away at the end of your fellowship? Don't think about this rotation as just one to use to check the box. Think about all the things that you're going to benefit from at the end of the rotation and make sure you get it. I want to invite you to think about what you could look like as an oncologist, maybe a malignant hematologist, maybe, or maybe even a benign hematologist who is not afraid of a massively bleeding patient because you know exactly what to do. Heme Consults will help you get there. I'll see you in the next video.